The fish pond, the Hawaiian traditional ancient fish pond, was to raise the fish within the pond for the village. And to do that, we had only certain species that were allowed to do that. The other species are too wild. So better known to everybody, the mullet, and we have the moi and the ava, 3 types of fish. A traditional Hawaiian fish pond is not necessarily commercial. It's really to feed the people on the land. So this fish pond is known as the kuapa, which means one gate, but also it's located near the shoreline in the ocean. Yesterday, this traditional fish pond was in full operation to do exactly what's supposed to do, feed the families and feed the royal family when they came. Today, it's impossible. This fish pond is governed by our federal, state, and county, and the laws changed since then. As a nonprofit, we have just a lease on revitalization, education, and of course recreation is allowed. For those who have a fish pond in their area, it shows the completion Maukamakai. Maukamakai is a mountain to the sea. The significance is that the water is used, we call it Waiolo Kani, water of life. So it's not only water of life for you and I, it's water of life for the plants, and water of life for the fish, water of life for the birds, the bees, everybody. So by you cutting off that water, you cutting off the life that belongs to the water. A lot of cultural significance to our fish pond. So we call it kauna, the deep hidden secret meaning of what is the fish pond and what does it have for us, and how do we preserve that from the mountain to the sea. We were not there when they did this wall 400 years ago. So imagine men today and men yesterday. So yesterday, they just was here to build the fish pond. And they was here to gather the rocks as far as 2 to 3 miles away from this pond and get it down to the ocean to make the wall. So there were lots of people harvesting this rock. We use it as a revitalization of the wall to revitalize the culture with all the educational institutions that we have on the island and those who visit the islands. So we do a lot of, we have all the schools on Maui that comes here. We have a water quality lab, and then we do what the culture part, gathering of the seaweed and finding out the different seaweed we have, what belongs here and what is invasive. And the other thing they do is they check out all the species we have in here, the fish, the coral, crabs, sea urchins, sea cucumbers. They come here and as you know that climate change affects the water. So they see the coral being dead and finding out how much of the coral that's really dead in this area and what will happen in the future. We have 6 canoes on the beach. Not only the canoes are for the tourists, but the canoes are for teaching our children the parts of the canoes and what the canoe meant to our people. At the time was not racing. The canoes were about fishing and about going out and get fish to bring home. So it's really directly related to the fish pond. Our typical experience is explaining to the people on island. We explain the parts of the canoe and teach them a chance to do that. And we go out, we show them the other fish ponds they have on the left-hand side. And we actually take them out on the wall and have them pick up the rocks and put it back on the wall. And not just pick it up, but look at the rock and understand what size rock and where it goes. Their actual experience is traditional Hawaiian culture experience that they would get here on the island. We definitely want to recognize, first of all the people on Maui who had volunteered all these years and continue to volunteer, all the educational institutions that come down and coordinate with your island. So we want to thank first all of Maui. We want to thank all our partners that has been with us for numerous years and make it possible for us to preserve, perpetuate, educate Hawaiian culture with the local ER, not only with our island people, but with our mainland people and foreigners. We actually have international, national, and local students that come here. And so we thank all of them. I think the 5-year goal is to get the wall as closely as completed. We've had many fish and sea life increase since we started the wall. It's where you build a moana, house of the sea. We wish to have more of that, We wish that in the next 5 years that we have an environmental planner and an environmental company that would help us to plan the larger pond that's next door and start to have a traditional Hawaiian fish pond next door. And this is why I say that with the federal, the state, the county, help us look towards in the next 5 years, work together in getting traditional Hawaiian fish pond put back how it was yesterday. And if not here, then if there is places that's ready to do that, we ask them to go help them. So I think that Molokai has places, I think Lanai has places, Kauai, and we do too, but I think that they should look at what traditional Hawaiian fish pond can put back how it was yesterday. And it will be a jewel for all of us, economically, for the tourists and everybody to see how prevalent that the fish is happening on the shorelines. Look at how we can put traditional Hawaiian fish ponds back to what it was yesterday.